Hello everyone and welcome back to For the Minions episode 36. If you just saw the images just now, that was some artwork from one of our friends of the show, Niktana. That's probably going to be my new end card now for the Minions. I love it so much, especially that he had Mandi's bow as her PS4 controller. And speaking of MandiMal, oh, by the way, I am your host, the one and only ManGoose, but joining me as always is my co-host, MandiMal. How you doing, Mandi?
I'm doing good, as if they don't know who you are. My favorite part is my horse slippers. I don't know if you noticed my horse slippers, but that is my favorite part. But yeah, I'm doing well, and we have another special guest star, but I don't know if we technically have three guest hosts with us.
I guess so.
We have Smimey and his beautiful birds, Ridley and Charlie.
Yep. I'm just an average player. They were gracious enough to have me over. We'll have some nice discussions today.
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. So tell us a little bit about your background with Paragon, your favorite hero, and all that.
Okay, so I got into the month update. I played a lot, but I played casually. Favorite character, definitely Wraith. I enjoyed him the most because of his unique playstyle and what I was able to do with him, playing him as mid-nuker, and I'll get into that build later. I played also a lot of other MOBAs, have about 3,000 hours in Dota, played some Smite, Overwatch, even Battleborn, we get to that as well. And yeah, just love these games, I love Paragon, and yeah.
Right on, man. We're glad to have you, we're glad. And by the way, his bird back there, Charlie, has its own Instagram, and it's Charlie _the _wingman. I'll link it down below. And it definitely looks like he makes a great wingman. I'm thinking about picking myself up a pigeon to help me along. So let's get right into the news and updates. Not a lot going on. Like, there hasn't really been a lot going on this for the past couple weeks, except for Predecessor. Omega Studios has been churning out these updates, and they continue to do so. What they told me that, when I asked for the updates, what they put out was that, they're almost ready for those lane minions, and they've been doing a lot of internal testing. However, after I'd contacted them and asked for their updates, they contacted me and asked me if I wanted to participate in one of the internal testing sessions that they were doing. It was me, another guy. I don't think he has a YouTube channel. Look at my pencil or something like, I forget his name, and then Jacka was in there as well. So it wasn't just members of the Omega team. It was just various people that had alpha keys. So that was a lot of fun, and we couldn't show any of the footage from it, couldn't create any content, but Smokey did say I could talk about it. So I will say some of the main differences between the original alpha that got put out for a couple days back in, March, April timeframe, and what I experienced was there was no input delay. That was probably the biggest problem with the alpha, was an input delay. The other thing was collision. You didn't collide with people as much. You could actually slip past people instead of getting hung up on like Fingmal's spear or what have you. So that was a huge and very welcome change. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about that? I think that's probably the best thing to do is if you guys have any questions about what may have changed between their closed alpha and now, and I'll try and answer to the best of my abilities.
Smimey, do you have anything you want to go with?
Not in particular with Predecessor, no.
Oh, okay.
I do have quite more questions about Ethereal later, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you kind of covered the two things I was going to ask about already. I experienced both the collision and the input lag myself. Pardon me. So I was curious about those two. Overall, just how's the game feeling? Does it feel like Paragon?
It feels really good. It feels like Legacy Paragon, like the look and feel and how everything plays out. It did feel a lot like Legacy Paragon, with a little bit of a twist because it did have their cards. Like I said, the lane minions weren't working, but Smokey was able to boost everybody to max level and just gave us some gold to play around with and buy some cards. There were no active cards, but It was nice. I was able to, I didn't remember seeing the projectiles leaving my weapon during the original alpha, but it was definitely in this one. And that made it a lot easier to track and fire and actually hit your shots, along with the input lag being gone. Just overall, it was really, really great. Yeah, they're damn near ready. It's almost ready for the public. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we did identify some bugs. We were able to, get on top of some places with Feng Mao that we shouldn't have been able to get into, and like kind of collide with some of the environment and get through some rocks and stuff like that. So there were definitely some bugs in there, and Smokey has told me that they've already fixed a lot of the bugs that we identified during that session. So that's good.
Wow.
They're trucking right along there.
Wow, that's really impressive. Just out of curiosity, who did you play as?
I played as Murdoch, Gadget, and Muriel. We played 3 games. Not Muriel. I played Murdoch, Gadget, and Feng Mao. That's who I played.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, but as I was saying, I think the ones I played most in Paragon were Feng Mao and Gadget and Murdoch. I did have Murdoch mastered. But yeah, they felt really good. Everything felt great. So props to them.
Smimey, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to double check because there's a lot of projects, and I'm trying my best to keep track of them. But Predecessor is the one that's trying to be just legacy Paragon, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
More or less.
Okay. All right, proceed, I guess. That was a lot. Just a small question.
And then we'll move on to the other ones just to get Smimey's opinion on them in a second. But let's move on right now to a Phoenix Rising. Visionary Games with Phoenix Rising. Not a lot to report from them, but they are starting to lay the groundwork for possible interactions with the community later on. Not big news at all, and I don't want to overhype it at all. It's not something to be hugely hyped about. It's just any news from them is good news. Everybody always thinks they're dead, but they're alive and kicking, and they're about to start showing it. So look forward to that if you are a Visionary Games fan. And if you're still hooked into the Phoenix Rising, so cool beans there. Now let's move on now to Ethereal. Smimey, you said you had some questions about Ethereal. What's up, man?
Ethereal. After watching your videos, Ethereal seems the one that most grabs my attention because they really want to change up the MOBA game, and like the one about the flying role where there's a lane that like it's vertically sloped, sort of lane here, and there's a class that can fly between them specifically. That's really cool. That's very innovative. I don't know. There's so many MOBAs that have existed for so long, and people are getting bored of them. I think it's gonna be just stagnation. So, I guess I just wanted to know if there's anything that you could tell me about how it's going. That's what I'm most curious about.
Imagine that. Smimey likes the flying thing. I mean, in particular, I don't know. I do know a lot about the game. Their lore, I think, whenever they update their website, which hopefully should be pretty soon, the lore will come out, and that's going to address a lot of people's concerns, because a lot of people are kind of saying, like, how are you going to have like a sentient computer virus going toe-to-toe with a Little Mermaid? Like, how do you explain that? But it is explained in the lore, and it's laid out much better than Paragon ever was. And nobody ever knows what the hell they were doing in Paragon. Like, what were they fighting? What were they fighting over? There was no explanation for that. But, a lot of people don't care about lore. But as far as game mechanics, they said very early on that they want everything to have a purpose. That's kind of like, that ties in with the flying. If a hero has wings, then they should be able to fly around with those wings. If they got a shield, they should be able to block stuff with that shield, and so forth and so on. And I don't know how that's going to translate into any other heroes. Maybe somebody that has a shovel will be able to dig through the map. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of their main focuses over there, and they are absolute perfectionists. And things that you think, well, that's never going to work, I'm pretty certain that they're going to be able to make work. So, very excited to see Ethereal. Hopefully, it's supposed to come out in this year, 2019, the pre-alpha, as it were. But I hope that happens. I really hope that happens. They've had 2 other alphas tentatively scheduled. They never said this is going to be the day the alpha was, but yeah, a few kind of tentative dates have come and gone. Hopefully, they do get it out in 2019.
Do they have any like pre-alpha sign up or anything like that?
They do not yet. That's probably going to be. I mean, they want to redo their website and that'll probably be on their website, the pre-alpha signups. So I don't think that's going to be part of the next website updates, but they do want to have their website all straightened up and have all their ducks in a row before they start any kind of pre-alpha signups for that. And it is going to be a paid pre-alpha, if you guys didn't know that. Approximately $20. That's kind of a ballpark estimate. They don't know the exact number of how much it's going to cost, but yeah, that one. The drawback is that you do have to pay for the pre-alpha, but it will be free to play in the future, and a lot of people like that because it guarantees access to the pre-alpha. It's not like a random thing. You can actually just pay some money and get in there, which is something a lot of people would prefer. So good to see that. And then if you don't have that kind of money, then you can just wait until it goes free to play. So
sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. And to the website as well. I'm one of those people who likes the lore in these MOBAs. So it's funny. Dota at least tries to incorporate some lore. Overwatch, the whole game is non-canon. So that's funny. I do like that they pay attention to the detail there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dota kind of they were able to draw a lot of their lore from World of Warcraft, so they kind of had to change it just slightly so it didn't get sued.
Some things like recolor some things, sure, but they also did add a couple of things. Not much, but just flavor, and they changed a couple of things. It's appreciated. At least it gives more personality to the characters you play, rather than just a faceless puppet.
Yeah.
And I like reading those, especially if you're really into a character. It adds that extra little polish, and I really do appreciate them putting into that. I just want to put that out there. If the real writers are watching this, good job, keep doing it.
Aww.
And then let's move on now to MetaBuff. I didn't have anything for them this week, but Smimey, did you have any questions or anything you want to discuss about MetaBuff and Core?
Not in particular. I haven't seen much from them. Again, I'm losing track of how many projects there are, to be honest. But MetaBuff and Core, no, nothing yet. I guess I'll stick my teeth in when more stuff comes out, more gameplay footage, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. No questions there. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Mandy, anything to say? Anything to say for yourself, Mandy?
I have nothing to say for myself. I have no excuses for being the way that I am.
All right, and so if you guys want to learn more about any of these games, I'll provide some links to their social media in the description below. But for now, let's move on to the poll results. And we got through all the heroes as far as the most impactful ultimate, and now we're squaring them off 2 at a time. This is the quarterfinals. And it was Aurora versus Wukong in the first round, and Aurora won by a landslide, 78% to 22%. I think, as Mandy, go ahead. You pointed it out earlier, and I agree with what you said.
I said, I think nobody wanted to vote for Wukong.
Yeah, I think that's it.
More people didn't want to vote for Wukong.
I think Wukong's ultimate was probably the most impactful in the game, but probably not in the best way. It was, in fact, so broken that they had to remove him. So it's a bit unfair. It's a bit unfair to vote for Wukong, and I think people recognize that and we're like, you know what? We're just going to vote for Aurora. Let's let Aurora take this. So I think that's good. I agree. I think Aurora was the most impactful without being completely and horribly broken. So
exactly.
Cool beans. What do you think, Smimey?
I definitely agree with that sentiment about Wukong and Aurora. I guess Aurora also looks pretty cool with her ice effects.
True.
Yeah.
So impactful both visually and gameplay wise as well. Yeah.
No, I didn't even think about it visually, but yeah, it was far more impactful visually.
Yeah.
Than just several swinging Wukongs. And that's going to be it for the poll results for this week. Let's move into the highlight reel. I've got some great highlights for you guys this week. Let's check them out now. Gideon comes in with an ultimate. He's on the ground, but Murdoch is trying to snipe. Murdoch was trying to snipe him. He was like 2 feet away. What are you doing, my dude? FTM, very low health going after this jungle camp minion. I don't know who's going to win. The minion wins! Let's take another look at this polearm poke-off. The minion's swinging in. Big damage. FTM trying his best. But the minion is victorious. I think we're going to do a minion kill touch just for him, and we're going to name him Jerry. Badass Jerry, the jungle camp minion. Kallari sneaky snaking up on FaZe. Holy shit, she is so low. The blind saves her, but she is extremely low on health. Kallari's coming after her. The dagger misses. Here comes the ultimate. She's gonna... What the fuck? What in the actual fuck just happened? Let me take a look at that. Okay, so Kallari's chasing down FaZe. Misses the dagger. Goes for the... Kallari ulted on Rampage, who was sitting inside the safe area and got fucking killed. That's one of the funniest fucking things I've seen on the show yet. And I actually have some real highlights for you guys. That was a bit of a joke, bit of a bait and switch there. Unfortunately, the highlights that got sent to me, I put them in a folder and accidentally deleted it. So if you guys have sent me highlights before, just send them to me again. I'll try to get them in next week. I kind of made do this week with some of the old highlights from my channel. So let's take a look at those right now. Red team has been spotted at Raptors by Grux. Grux extremely low, lands a huge smash and grab, followed up by a nice seismic assault by Bellica. That void bomb didn't look like it hit too many people, but that was still really well done. Drongo drops down. Murdoch had to have shit his pants right there. And Drongo is firing into this backline. They are so focused on Bellica that they're ignoring Drongo, and Drongo is just getting kill after fucking kill. Faye tries to land the ultimate, but Drongo takes her out beforehand. Let's see if he can catch up with Sevarog. He's moving through. Cheeky bastard took the gold buff on his way. Does he have the boomerang? He gets it. He got Sevarog's attention and then blasts him right in the face for the pentakill. Destroyer 20 has the purple buff and he's waiting very patiently for the red team to group up. He's just biding his time. They're finally grouped up. He pops in along with Aurora and they wombo combo their abilities together. Bam! Drops that dookie on FaZe's head. I think Aurora got one of those kills amidst the wombo combo. Greystone's ultimate is popped. Gideon's going to wait patiently, drop another cosmic dookie on top of him. And Chimera's the only person alive for the red team. And he does got a Chimera thing and dives into the blue team. He does pick up a kill, but he gets wiped out by Gideon and Aurora. That is a full team wipe. Narbash doing what any good support should do. He has picked up wards from the very top, and he's throwing them down, but Chimera spots him, decides that he wants a piece of that gray bait, pushes far into the enemy territory, into the enemy jungle, and he is swinging away at Narbash, but Narbash has that thunk. Is he going to land it? He does land it indeed, and the red tide swarms all over Chimera, and Narbash takes him out with a drumstick to the face. Kallari running in, realizes there's a ward there, tries to back up. Narbash has another ward. He's got that lamplighter. That is 2 charges of ward for the price of 1. They're going to keep pushing through here. I don't think Kallari realizes there's so many wards around here. She does. Countess is going to try and de-ward for Kallari, but instead she's going to deep throat a drumstick, and the Narbeast is going to pursue this kill. Is he going to take her? He does. Smacked her right across the face, takes her down. Meanwhile, Kallari trying to, if Kallari would have just kind of went after Narbash there, everybody would have been fine, but Narbash is not done. Another thunk to the back of Kallari's noggin. And that is a triple kill before the 2-minute mark for Narbash. Holy shit. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed those real highlights. We're going to move on to the topic for discussion, and that's what mode you would like to see added to these games the most, like a 3v3, 1v1, PvE, some kind of mode like that. Excluding ranked mode, we've had an entire discussion about ranked mode in the game. So let's get on into that. Smimey, what do you got to say? What do you got to say about some extra modes in these games that could be added in?
I'll first hand it to you guys first, because I made a prepared response for this, and it's gonna be a long response. So you guys go first before I go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Mandi.
sounds good. I feel like my opinion is gonna be unpopular especially for Smimey. I don't care about PvE at all. Like, when I want to play a MOBA, PvE does not come to mind. So I would probably go more for. I kind of feel like a 1v1 would be fun because who doesn't love team fights? Like, you just want to go in there and get in a giant team fight and like have a little death ball match and just see what happens. So I think
that would be like a 3v3 ARAM mode, or maybe just ARAM period, a 5v5 ARAM. That might be cool.
I mean, why not? That would be cool. But yeah, and the only reason I say that about PvE is because they've included PvE in Genesis, and I tried to mess around with that just to see what it was about. And I found myself getting really bored. I was just like, I don't want to. I'd rather be playing a more traditional, MOBA feeling game. So, but I would not be surprised if after hearing Smimey's points, maybe you can change my mind. So, so that's all I have to say about it.
I think a PvE mode would be fun if done the right way. I mean, just playing against AIs really isn't all that fun or interesting. I think a fun PvE mode that I would like to see added into these games would be kind of a wave survival type mode, kind of like zombies in Call of Duty or something. Just increasingly difficult waves of minions. Maybe throw an Orb Prime in there one occasion. I think that would be a lot of fun. Start off with just the regular lane minions. You clear the first wave, and then the second wave, you get some siege minions. Third wave, maybe some jungle minions mixed in. It just keeps getting increasingly more difficult. And then you can have leaderboards like who survived the most waves, and I'm sure there would be some heroes that were way better at it than others. But I think that would be a cool concept and a fun thing to put into the games. Smimey, what do you think, man?
All right, so here we go. So PvE, just like you said, it should either be done correctly or not done at all. I don't think these games should be focusing on that right now. Probably after the fact, and definitely a wave survival horde mode would be a good start. But also, I think PvE would be a great way to introduce players to MOBAs, right? Have like a tutorial PvE, maybe even put some lore in there that teaches you how to play a MOBA properly, and don't make it like this has to be made in a way that's not pandering or too slow, right? It's very difficult to make it so someone enjoys playing a tutorial, but it's possible, I think, and that's how useful it can be. Because if you just throw someone in a MOBA without any prior knowledge of what a MOBA is, they'll just go for kills, and it won't be a good experience. Having maybe a tutorial where someone could test out a character and then figure out how MOBA is supposed to work in a way would be good. But also, I personally enjoy PvE games, and if I get really invested with a character and I'm bad at the game and I don't get to do my moves before I die, it can be annoying. So sometimes it's nice to play a more laid back game mode where you get to do all the cool stuff of your character, right?
True.
It's a good practice for that character. I do enjoy that. And I want to draw from some past experiences with games that had both PvE and PvE. In particular, I wonder, do you guys know Battleborn?
Yeah, I tried it out a little bit.
I think I tried it, and I don't remember much about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that game really flew under the radar. I don't want to go on a tangent rant, but that game did have some good ideas. The game had a co-op campaign, and it had a PvP MOBA with lanes. And you had the same characters with the same skill trees, and you could get item drops from the PvP or the PvE, and you could get those same items in both modes. So the characters are cross-play. They're not changed at all, which is interesting. So the same moves you do in PvE, you do in PvP, and vice versa. And it was a really cool way to get PvP players play PvE, and PvE players play PvP, because it's the same thing. Although the game wasn't perfect, I think that was really interesting. Overwatch is one game where people are calling for PvE, and I don't understand why. Because all the PvE they've shown in the game is pretty basic, like zombie horde mode. All the enemies are lazily designed, and I think they're working on Overwatch 2. The leaks are to be believed. That's going to be a campaign while keeping Overwatch still the multiplayer game. And oh man, I don't think it's going to be good. They've not shown. I don't want to go on a rant here, but people. It's just like what Mandi said. I think poor PvE experiences are worse than not having a PvE experience. I think it has to be good, but once it's done correctly, it provides good practice, possibility for lore, and I think they're really fun. And I think a lot of people do call, like, every single PvP only game, there is a group of people who I've noticed always call for some PvE mode, even if it's just bots. So people enjoy it. I remember when I first started playing Dota, for my first, not only, but mostly, just bots for my first 150 hours or so, just until I get a hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped a lot. So, I think something like that is useful for casual players who want to get the hang of the game, who want to experiment things. If there's no way to experiment or practice, you just bad players. Not that it's their fault, but that's just the thing. So, some PvE component would be useful. Definitely training mode first, then maybe a wave horde mode, because that would be easier to implement. And then you can start focusing on story elements, PvE campaigns. Hearthstone does PvE really well in game, but they sell these packs where it's a co-op, it's a single player campaign that's meticulously designed, and it works really well. And that's one way for them to monetize. These free-to-play PvP games could, if they wanted to, this is way further down the line, make these co-op experiences with the story and sell them, and that's one way to monetize as well. So that's interesting. There's a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, you're right. Hearthstone was very creative with their PvE mode. You wouldn't think a trading card game could have an interesting PvE mode, but they nailed it, especially with the last PvE expansion that they had. But yeah, I never thought of that, but that's a really good idea.
Let's see. Now, shall I get into some other random notes I want to discuss, I guess?
Yeah, you wanted to talk about your Wraith build, which is interesting because Wraith was played in so many different... He was played in all the roles. People played him as ADC, they played him as support, they played him mid lane, off lane. I didn't see him play jungle too much, but I'm sure it happened.
Happened.
So, especially after after the new card system changed and they decreased the difficulty of the jungle, like anybody could go in there and jungle. So yeah, he was a beast. So how did you play him, Smimey?
So I really loved my pink Wraith character. Wraith is so much fun because it's just so satisfying to snipe someone and to getting close. What I would do is I don't remember exactly the whole build. I would prioritize getting experience first. But basically, these are 3 cards I would lead up to. Stagnant Domination, Ability Slow. Ability hits slow 30% for 1.5 seconds. So, the cooldown on his shot is about 10 seconds. And Cryo Agent is that after an ability cast, basic attack slows 30% for 1.5 seconds and deals some damage. So I would get close to someone, shoot them, and then they get slowed, and then hit auto-attack them. They get slowed for some more, and now... compared to if they weren't slowed, they'd be further away. But now I have enough time for my cooldown on my shot to reset, and that's probably going to kill them.
Yeah.
And it works really well. And anytime that doesn't work, I can just ulti and get out. And it just rinse and repeat, and it just felt so satisfying to get those kills.
And if you happen to miss, you just rewind them.
Yep.
There you go.
That's I forgot about that. Yes, of course. You can always also rewind and take another shot. It's great.
He was a very well designed hero. I really liked Wraith.
Yeah, he was fun. Yeah.
I played him a bit like you did. I think I played him mainly as a burst mage, and used knock knock. I think it was called as like my big nuke instead of like Gideon would drop a boulder or what have you. I would snipe people with Wraith. So very flexible hero. I think he was Ace's favorite. Overall was Wraith, but Ace played him as a carry, I believe. ADC.
Really good.
Don't know, not sure.
And you got a couple builds on here you're talking about.
Yes.
You got Narbash and Bellica.
Yeah, Narbash. not too innovative, I guess, but I would just equip a lot of AoE supporty abilities, try to get tanky, and as when I'm in the fight, stuff happens. Basically, like Amped Healing, Vengeful Mire, Burst Slow, AoE slow after taking 200 damage. This is useful because if I build tanky, there's no cooldown on this. Every time I take 300 damage, it triggers. So I just jump in with my ultimate and then start, face stacking people just so they can get slowed. And it's so satisfying. And then, of course, the mana restore. I just show up, heal everyone, restore mana, everyone gets to do stuff. You just run around with Narbash and do all this team fight thing.
Yeah, he could be extremely tanky, and then with health regen on top of that, he was just nuts.
So fun. Lieutenant Bellica, not too crazy, but just standard nuke build, get fireball, stun them, throw them up, put the mine, forget exactly, and then deal fireball, and there's also the mana bomb, burns mana, and deals damage equal to mana burns. And I think one of her abilities also, was it her ultimate, where she deals damage based on how much mana was missing? I think.
Yeah, it was her ultimate.
Yeah. So
Neural Disruptor.
Yeah. So I would just, I had a sequence where I would do these moves, and usually I don't even have to finish the whole sequence until they die, but just in case, I would use that ulti at the end. And it was just so satisfying to burn people down.
Yeah, that's nasty. That is nasty.
So nasty, especially the fireball. They don't expect the fireball, but because it does most of its damage after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I know sometimes during the sequence that if I let them go, they're gonna die from the fire, and I just let them go and I just walk back, and I know they're gonna die. It feels great.
Oh, that would be.
That's bad manners. That is bad manners. I know plenty of people did that on Moragesh, though.
Oh,
I used to love doing that on Shimby as well, getting a whole bunch of stacks up and then leaving as if I was just out, and then boop, there goes their ultimate. Let them think that they're going to get away.
Oh man! Oh, it hurts so good.
Oh, Moragesh really owed me a lot when I was starting out in the game and didn't know how her ultimate worked. Like I thought I was out on the clear, and then she just gets. But now it's kind of like anyone who plays Dota, do you know Bloodseeker? Maybe.
Yeah.
He's a noob tuber. Like very easy to prey on noobs because if you don't know how the game works, it's easy to die from it.
Oh no.
Yeah. It basically makes you bleed if you move, right? Doesn't do much damage initially, but if you try to move afterwards and you're taking damage, why am I taking damage? I'm running away, and and you just end up killing yourself.
Yeah, you just kind of have to stand toe to toe and fight him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does suck.
It's actually really easy to counter that. You just hold still. It doesn't have much damage otherwise. And you can just teleport. In Dota, you can buy teleport scroll. You just teleport back to base, and he doesn't have a stun himself. So if no one has a stun, you can just see ya and you just teleport. He's looking to do. So yeah, it's one of those things. Moragesh, very hard to deal with early on. Now, I do have some other random notes, if any devs are listening, about these MOBA games. Let's see. So I want to talk about microtransactions, nanotransactions, and macrotransactions. You guys know these terms?
I don't know nanotransactions and macrotransactions, no.
So, microtransactions truly did start out micro, 99 cents, so on, but really they've become more macro. $99 for this many gems. That's not true. Micro at all. And I don't like to use the term micro. Maybe, I don't know if nano is used, but I like to propose nanotransactions for these MOBAs because, I don't think, maybe they have an aversion to pricing things so low, but I think having a lot of cosmetics priced very low is better than having a few elite cosmetics that are priced high. Because it's more likely that a person would buy them that way. At least that was my case. Dota, I never really bought any of those expensive cosmetics, but occasionally you'd find in the community market, I can buy this hat for my character for 17 cents. And then I can keep adding these up, and over my almost 4 years of playing Dota, I spent $150 on it without even knowing. So I spread over those years. It's not so bad, but that's definitely something they could do. And I think with the current climate against super predatory microtransactions, it would also give you good publicity to have truly microtransactions
Yeah.
be that cheap. People would really like that, I think.
Yeah.
For like, the skin came out, it's 99 cents. Here you go. You just get it. And I think like, it's worth at least trying. I understand devs put a lot of hard work on this, but in terms of economies of scale, once you make the skin, copying it won't cost any more money, right? Distributing it, that's the thing about software. So even though you might value it more, if enough people buy it at that low price, it will make more money than if you priced it higher. So, I hope they consider, because what was it? I think it was Genesis as well. You mentioned last week that they were making exclusive characters in a MOBA game, and
that you had to purchase in order to play.
Yeah, that's a very sticky situation. A game where counters and stuff is involved, and balance is a thing. Even if the character is balanced and overpowered, there's always the perception, right? I think they should definitely backpedal on that. Keep purchases only cosmetic. And maybe think about this aspect. Now, what else do I have in my notes? Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to go over all of them. I don't want to make the show too long.
Okay, my bad. I'll go over these real quick.
Bad.
But what do you guys think about perfect balance versus chaos balance?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So perfect balance, as in trying to do incremental changes in the game to reach a state of that everything is reasonably viable, while chaos balance, you just switch up the meta, right? So these games that do this, Overwatch and Dota has been doing this more often. They just have this big patch where they change a bunch of stuff, and now people have to figure out what the new meta is. And by the time they figure it out, they just change it again.
So that sounds like Paragon.
They definitely do that a lot too. Perfect balance. There's nothing really truly perfect, but the idea is to get closer to perfection by making these small adjustments to reach a sort of equilibrium where everything is viable, and it's all about how people play, and people keep discovering new things, I guess. But it's hard to do, so sometimes you just resort to chaos balance, where they just change things up, and they don't know they change so many aspects that they don't know how it's going to play out, and then the meta becomes not figured out in the beginning. But the thing is, because chaos balance doesn't prioritize actually being balanced, it's inevitable that a meta will happen. Some characters will be found out to be OP and some underpowered, and then it's all about the developer doing it again, rinse and repeat, by when that happens, or else people will be sick, even more sick of the meta. So how do you guys feel about those two balancing methods?
I think perfect balance is probably the best way to go in the beginning, especially in the alpha phase for a lot of these games. I think chaos balance is something that can only really be implemented once you have your perfect balance as close to perfect as possible. Like you said, you're never going to have everything perfectly balanced, and doing some chaotic changes like that could be a good way to shake things up and make the game more interesting and kind of feel fresh. However, I don't think they're going to need to do that for a while. It's going to, and especially in the alpha, I don't see them doing like chaotic balance changes like that. At least another, like after full release, another like year or two even after that. So probably way the hell down the road for any of these games.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until Goose said it that way. That it does sound like almost a way to freshen up a game. But I think I agree pretty much exactly with the way Goose said it. Maybe later on in a game, you could start introducing some of that more chaotic changes. But when you were first explaining it, I'm like, that just sounds like Paragon, and it sounds like a recipe for disaster. Like, it just doesn't sound good. But I guess it would be kind of fun, like if a game gets a little stagnant, a little stale. Hey, we've introduced some big changes that they may not go over well, but they are here, and let's see how it goes, and then we can kind of make some tweaks based on everyone's reactions to it. So
definitely, it's not actually one or the other. They could have a mixture of
the two. True, yeah. Very true.
let's see. Last few things I do want to mention. I don't want to make this too long, but just a few more notes. Not the whole thing, but let's see. Where is it? Able to purchase exact currency amounts. Any game that's trying to make a premium currency is fine, but don't make it so you can only buy it at 10, 20, 30, 90 increments. If someone wants to buy 5 gems to buy this one thing, let them buy that specific thing. Because pricing things cheap in premium currency doesn't do any good if buying the premium currency is still expensive. That was something that happened recently with I think Apex Legends. And last thing, there's a lot of projects going on, lots of talented people. I do want to say this, I guess. I love this, and I want the more the merrier, yeah, right? But I guess I feel like the reality is, if they all come out, they're all kind of vying for a similar audience, and it's, I think, inevitable that some of them might not be able to have enough an audience to compete. If that does happen, I hope they can get absorbed by other studios who are willing, I guess, because it'd be sad to see them fail and then close down.
That's true.
Yeah, I hope for the same thing. Like, I don't think they'll all succeed, but hopefully if one succeeds and the other one fails, then they'll be able to pull some of the people out of that, the failed community into the one that's succeeding. Because if they are succeeding, they're going to be picking up steam and they're going to need new people. So
kind of make the best of a bad situation there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good points.
Really excited for Ethereal's new website. That's my last
Hopefully it'll be soon. They had some problems there. They had a couple problems, but hopefully that's all worked out.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Plugs. Smimey, do you have anything to plug? You got a YouTube channel or anything, man?
I have a YouTube channel that I very sporadically put stuff on.
Okay.
So not a YouTuber by any means, but sometimes I just feel the need to put it out there. I appreciate you having me on here. That's great. Hopefully this reaches some developers. Keep working on that good stuff. I'm not a YouTuber, but I have a YouTube channel. I'll plug it down there. and looking forward to all the projects. That's all I got. Also, my pigeon's Instagram will also be there.
Most importantly, Charlie. I just have that same old stuff. I've stream on Twitch. I got the Discord if you feel like joining the Discord. And I very sporadically, almost never upload to YouTube.
Yeah, what's up with that Genesis video you promised?
I am working on the Genesis video.
Nice.
I wanted to. That was part of the reason why I tried the PvE is because I wanted to be able to discuss it a little bit. So I'm just kind of. It's like the more I play it, the more thoughts I have on it. So my script, if you will, for what I want to say in the video is constantly changing. So that's why it's like a little bit not done.
All right. I'll leave everyone with a question like I've been doing for the past couple episodes. If you could own one weapon in Paragon and it be actual functional in the real world, what would that weapon be? Of course, Smimey and Mandi haven't had a chance to think theirs up, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to say I would like to have Decker's staff thingy, whatever the hell it was called. I think that would be fun, because, I mean, you could shoot with it. It didn't seem all that lethal, so you could just zap your buddies if you wanted to. And then I think just the stasis bomb would be just so much fun. Just put people in stasis for a second and move along. So I think if I could have one weapon for Paragon and have it be functional in the real world, it would it would be Decker's staff. I would say Richter's hook, but I already made one, so I have one of those. You guys have an answer yet?
Definitely Narbash's drums.
Yeah.
Could do some neat stuff with that.
Good one. That was a good one. I actually, the very first thing that came to mind was Decker's staff thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that would be fun, but for the sake of being original and not taking your answer, I like Quang's ability to recall his sword from wherever because I lose stuff all the time. So if I was just like, where's my sword, damn it?
And you can put your keys on it.
There you go. And it'd be
the world's most giant keychain. Where'd I put my keys? Wow!
Yeah. And then just scare people in the Walmart parking lot. Like, it's fine. It's just my keys.
You want to get to the head of the line? Just throw your sword up there and teleport over to it.
Yep, there you go. So there we go. That's my answer.
Right on. Okay, guys, if you have your own answer, please let us know in the comments below. But for now, this is the For the Minions crew signing off. You guys have a good one. ManGoose!